There's a new Wolverine in town. Your favorite Jesus Christ. Your favorite blue blur gets a new secret lair. Will John Malkovich ever make it into a Marvel movie? The green tight hero Zelda and the Princess Link have found their actors. In the upcoming age of... Oh, no, that's news. All this and more on Cutting Edge Hero Live. Hero! I am the Nerd King, Danny Stewart, and I'm sure Randy's going to add the rest of the guys to the stage. Your host for this and most episodes of Cutting Edge Hero. I am joined today by my illustrious co-host, Jen. Jen, how are you today?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you?
I'm doing really, really well. It is great to see you. Also, my right-hand man, because he's literally on my right. My brother, Joey Stewart, is here in the studio. Joey, how's it going?
Going wonderful. Good day.
We also have one of the owners of BlackTooth Studio, OMARI Malik, joining us live via the magic of the internet. OMARI, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you guys so much for having me.
I'm glad you are here as well. Cannot wait to talk about BlackTooth Studios and everything you guys have coming down the pipeline. Randy, our technical director, how are you doing today?
Good. Only messed up a couple times so far.
Hey, it's cool.
40 seconds.
Yeah, it's cool. You got to shake off that rust, man. It's been a week, and we're back at it again. Anyway, we have got a great show for you tonight. We will be talking about some of, not all, the news in the bullet points. We will be interviewing OMARI about BlackTooth Studios. We will follow that with a review of the James Gunn Superman movie in 3 cuts. And then finally, we are trying out our new segment, How Would You? And that will all be coming in a few moments. But before we get into all of that, let's talk about the nerdiest thing you've done this week. Jen, what is the nerdiest thing you've done this week?
Man, so I've been playing the video game 7 Days to Die, and they finally got out of their beta and finally got all of the biomes and different monsters and stuff that they added, and it is kicking my ass.
Yeah.
Playing with my husband, and we had to turn the biomes off because you can't fucking drink enough water when you're in the desert site, and then when you're only wearing like basically a loincloth, it's really hard. So
remind me, so this isn't the first 7 Days to Die, right? Like there's been a few of those, or is this okay?
The first one they made like 10 years ago. So the second one actually took 10 years for them to do, like to create. And I think the beta came out late last year, I think. I don't know. We've been playing it for several months, but the first one, I mean, it's definitely like more updated graphics and a lot more things you can do and like different like stats and skills that you can upgrade. So it's a lot of fun.
Cool. I'll have to check that out. Randy, what is the nerdiest thing you've done this week?
I was on Nightmares and Nerdscape podcast yesterday, and we talked about 28 Weeks Later. So between that and then doing a double feature of 28 years later, not days, and did a double feature of that and Superman on Monday in preparation for yesterday and today.
Billy Rhodes is in the chat. He said, "Don't call it a comeback. I've been here a long time." Billy also said, "Danny, your audio sounds a bit harsh. I don't know. Do I sound good to everyone else?"
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. Not sure what would be causing that, Randy or Billy, and I'm sorry. We also have Kelvin in the chat commenting as No Gimmicks Podcast, and CJ from Nightmares and Nerdscapes in the chat as well. Thank you guys. Welcome all of you in. Joey, what is the nerdiest thing you've done this week?
You know me. I'm an anime nerd. I started a new anime over the weekend, and it's called Gachi Akatu. It's actually pretty good. Pulls you in really in the beginning, ties you down, and keeps you going. So yeah, that's my nerdy news.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't checked that one out yet. I like to let anime get a few episodes down before I start binging it, so that I can spend several hours doing it instead of just 30 minutes at a time. Amari, you don't have to answer this if you don't have anything, but what's the nerdiest thing you've done this week?
So for people that, so I will say this, like all my friends know this. I am a huge Michael Turner fan. R.I.P. Michael Turner, the comic book artist. But yes. Turner did the covers for Identity Crisis, which isn't. I want to say it's not one of the most popular DC Crisis, but I reread it. I have the floppies for it because Michael's art is so good. So I think that's like very random to be like, I like Michael's art. Let me look at these covers and reread Identity Crisis on a Sunday and Monday afternoon.
Gotcha. Yeah, I love the Identity Crisis storyline. We talked a bit before the show, and you're more of a DC stan and a little Marvel, and I'm more of a lot Marvel and a little DC. But that's one that fell well into my wheelhouse. I also love like just stories that had an impact on me going back and rereading them, whether that be Kingdom Come or Universe X or a lot of the best Wolverine and Marvel storylines. And definitely like Long Halloween, some of the better Batman stuff, the stuff from Jeff Loeb, or whenever Jim Lee was doing the art there. It's just so visually incredible. So dude, that's awesome. Also, for me, the nerdiest thing I've done this week, they just dropped Diablo 4 and Cyberpunk 2077 on the PlayStation Plus network for free. And so I cleared a bunch of room in my PS5, downloaded both of them, and have just been plugging away at both of those games. Not for free. Yeah, I'm a lot further into Diablo 4 than I am Cyberpunk, but I will report back as to how that goes for me. I'm excited.
Actually, I was gonna say I saw you playing that last night. I was like, "Hey, Danny's on." Like, what's he playing? Cyberpunk? I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, and I'm not sure about Cyberpunk, but Diablo 4 is multiplayer. So if you guys are on or playing, just hit me up. Maybe we can squad up, kill some demons together.
I like killing demons.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is the nerdiest things we've done this week. Jen, do you want to talk about some news?
I do. Let's do it.
Hey, Randy, fire those bullet points at me. Welcome to the bullet points, guys. We are talking about some of, but definitely not all, the latest news in comic books, movies, anime, and video games. Unfortunately, not TV this week. There was very little television news to share. That being said, we will kick it off with comics. This one's particularly of interest to me, but in the upcoming Age of Revelation storyline event happening in Marvel Comics, it takes place 10 years after the end of the Age of Apocalypse timeline, and Doug Ramsey, the heir of Apocalypse, is now the new Apocalypse in this world and has created a world in his image. There is a comic running in conjunction with that called The Last Wolverine. It's going to feature a new character in the classic yellow and blue tights, and it goes back to Wolverine's very first appearance in Marvel Comics. It is actually going to be the Wendigo in the Wolverine costume in this universe. So we have an image here from the cover of Last Wolverine #1. There you see Wendigo in the classic Wolverine duds. If you guys remember in Incredible Hulk number 238, I believe, or I don't remember the issue number off the top of my head, Wolverine showed up to fight the Wendigo, and the Wendigo showed up to fight the Hulk, and that's how they all met and how the character was introduced in Marvel Comics. This is not that Wendigo, though. This is a teenager who has been given the curse of the Wendigo and has been trained by Wolverine and is filling the boots of Wolverine post Logan giving up the mantle. for the storyline. Thoughts?
Does he eat people?
Traditionally, that's how the curse of the Wendigo is passed, but I cannot tell you from what I read whether that is how this this character named Leonard has gained the ability, or if the curse was passed some other way.
Okay.
I like
hope he does.
Wolverine's in the background. He looked like with the mask. It looks like he's doing a real smug smile.
Yeah, yeah, that's a weird face for sure. This like little.
I think it's just the angle of the mask, but it looks like he's doing like a
Yeah,
like a smug lip, like upper lip smile.
Yeah, he looks like the villain from Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Interesting.
Yeah. For more comic book news, we're going to go over to Omari. Omari, what do you got on the independent comic side?
Yeah, so surprisingly, aside from my stuff from BlackTooth Publishing, where I have 3 one-shots out right now, you can find them on Amazon or on my website, and I know we'll talk about them a little bit later. I do happen to have a couple of friends that have comics. I have a friend of mine, my mentor, his name's Greg Anderson, LSA. He has a Kickstarter going right now for a book called Hammer. It's kind of based on the folktale of John Henry Irons, but it's a 3,000 years in the future, and he's fighting a robot AI apocalypse. So,
Oh, wow.
I want to say Greg posted this morning saying there was like 69 hours left. So I want to say like 2 days left on that Kickstarter. He just hit his goal. I'm real good friends with the people at Fair Square Comics. They always have graphic novels and things going on. So, if you look them up, I'm going to plug my friends, but then, like I said, my stuff is on Amazon and on my website, blacktoothpublishing.com.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out. And you said it was 69 hours?
This morning, he made a
Nice.
really post. Exactly. That was the exact post he made this morning, saying like, "Hey, we hit our goal with 69 hours left. Giggity."
Yeah, we'll have to check that out for sure. That's really cool, man. Turning from independent comic book news, let's go over to the world of anime. Jen, what do you got?
Oh, a couple of things. Actually, I wanted to recommend anime to everybody. This is kind of on our radar, and we gave it a look. It's called The Summer Hikaru Died. It's a Japanese manga is where it started from. They released it on Netflix. They have 2 episodes out, with the 13th or the third one coming out on, I think, the 19th. It's either a Friday or Saturday. So the story is a teenager. His name is Yoshiki. His best friend Hikaru went into the mountains, and then when he comes back, he's acting really strange. So they actually kind of get into this pretty early, and I think it's actually in the first episode. Basically, Yoshiki calls him out "Hey, you've been acting weird. Are you okay?" And so he kind of confesses that he's actually this supernatural entity that's in the body of Hikaru. So and Randy, do you have those pictures?
Yes.
So this is the dark-haired one is Yoshiki, and then Hikaru is the platinum blonde one.
Okay.
So then show the next picture, Randy. So this is the form that I guess is inhabiting Hikaru. So he kind of shows this to his friend Yoshiki. But the interesting thing about the story is that even though Yoshiki knows about it, he still wants to be his friend. He doesn't want to lose that friendship, so he continues the friendship with him. So a lot of really good story already in just the first 2 episodes. And I looked it up, and they're going to have 12 episodes total. So,
damn. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. The other news I had was My Hero Academia is their final season's coming out. It's not going to be released until October 4th later this year, but they're introducing an ultimate scene ranking poll where fans such as us, you, me, maybe, I don't know, can go on there and vote from their favorite scenes from the series.
Yeah.
So if you go to the ultimate scene ranking website, you can go in there and vote for your favorite scene. And I think they'll have that open until the September 15th. So I thought that was kind of cool. I'd love to be able to vote no, this one's the best.
My Hero Academia has its fair share of incredible scenes, and I'm sure that the upcoming series, the upcoming final season, is going to be no exception to that. So yeah, that'll be really cool.
I look forward to it too.
No Gimmicks podcast at Omari. Please leave your info. I will share that along the DFPN Discord. If you guys are not in the DFPN Discord, we can share the join link in the chat here in a little while. But yeah, Randy, why is Omari muted?
He did it.
Yeah, I just did it just so you know.
Oh, you're okay. No big deal. I thought Randy did it. My bad.
No.
Sorry, Randy.
CJ was saying both you and Jen are a little bit quiet compared to Danny.
Compared to whom?
Compared to you.
I'm like too loud.
No, I think they're just quiet. I don't know if there's a way for me to up the volume, but I don't know.
Jen.
And Joey is also quieter.
How am I quiet?
I don't know.
I'm in the
You
mic.
just said Jen Omari.
Okay.
Okay, not me.
Okay.
I'm good.
You can control us by the soundboard over there.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think I can.
Would be the best way to handle that situation. And if we're too like Joey might be really loud because I turned his gain way up because he won't stay on the fucking mic,
I'm eating
and
the
he's
mic
like
today.
eating
Come
the
on.
mic right now, so he's probably very loud. And I don't know if my gain is up or not, but I would be the first one. And yeah, you could turn my gain down a little bit if you want. But anyway, moving along. So that's everything for anime news, correct, Jen?
Yes, sir.
Nightmare Nerdscape said, "You don't talk to Joey like that, Danny. I talk to him however the fuck I want to. That's my brother." What's he gonna do about it? Anyway, going over to video game news. Randy, what do you have?
I don't really have video game. I had game news.
Okay, going over to game news. Randy, what do you have?
So it's really short. They released a Magic the Gathering released their newest secret lair, which is Sonic the Hedgehog, and I think it sold out in like 2 hours or something, and that's like alongside like hour-long wait times. So this is just some of the cards that they had.
That's crazy.
Like Eggman, and then like the Super State. I'm pretty excited about.
I'm buying the shinies.
But yeah, just everybody. I think Shadow the Hedgehog is the one everybody's excited about the most.
Yeah.
Because his mechanics are pretty wild. But yeah, just a fun thing that I thought of to talk about a little bit.
I am not as into MTG as I probably should be as a nerd. Joey is very into it. My other brother Ben, super into it, as we've discussed previously. But you guys Magic players at all? Omari, Jen?
I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh guy. I play Cyber Dragons. I'm more of a Yu-Gi-Oh guy.
Gotcha.
But I do love Sonic. I have Knuckles up here, so I do love Sonic.
This could be your entry point to Magic. I have said they should do a secret because they're doing secret layers with so much because they just did the Final Fantasy one. I was like, they need to do a secret layer Yu-Gi-Oh crossover. That would go so hard.
Yeah.
It's a great way, Greg. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm right.
I need a Blue Eyes White Dragon in my
Dragon deck.
in my Commander game.
But yeah, so not again. I'm not a Yu-Gi-Oh guy, and I apologize, Amari.
Oh.
Not my thing. I did watch the cartoon a little while, but I never really got into it like Pokemon or any of that. Digimon was my thing. I love Digimon. But my wife, Katrina, she has all of the starter decks. So she has the Kaiba deck. She has the Yugi deck. So she's definitely more Yu-Gi-Oh than I am.
I've been watching so much Yu-Gi-Oh because I found that a YouTube channel, I think it's called like Anime Vault, and they have just like every week they upload like a new episode, not new quote unquote,
But
it's like the Battle City tournament. That's like I've just been watching like that and then going back and watching other episodes. It's so good.
Battle City was so preposterous to think that they were running around the city on a major scale playing virtual card games, and they even they had the finals on a blimp.
Yeah, and then they take a minute to go into cyberspace,
Exactly.
and then they go and like Merrick is just like the evil villain. He's just like, well, I don't know what to do while you're doing this, so I'll just wreak havoc over here.
I love you,
CJ says he's a level 3 Yu-Gi-Oh judge from back in the day and an upper deck brand ambassador. He nerded a lot. No shit, CJ, that's crazy.
I can't believe that didn't come up yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's I mean, Magic the Gathering is doing such a ton of like crossover shit right now. You know, there was the D&D crossover with Magic where they did the source books that had Magic races and classes in it, which was pretty cool. And now, you know, they're going the other direction. They're adding all sorts of like nerd properties, be it Final Fantasy or Sonic or any of the other crossovers. I'm sure they have a My Little Pony one coming soon. Justin Quick in the chat said, "Hey, Danny, what is up, Justin? Glad you're here." Mac is in the chat. What up, Mac? Glad you're here. Thank you guys for being part of that, part of the show, and for jumping in for this. Moving along from gaming news, we are going to movie news. In MCU news, the Red Ghost character, who was going to be played by John Malkovich in Fantastic Four: First Steps, has officially been cut from the movie. So if you were the most excited about Red Ghost and his gorillas for Fantastic Four: First Steps, I apologize. It's not happening. Now, if you guys remember, the third Spider-Man film starring Tobey Maguire, that was being directed by Sam Raimi, was initially supposed to feature John Malkovich as the Vulture, and the studio heads didn't have any faith in the idea of John Malkovich being a good superhero villain, and they instead forced Venom upon them, and that's how we got the Topher Grace Venom in what is the worst of the Spider-Man films to date. And why the script doesn't make a lot of sense, because it was originally written for John Malkovich's Vulture to be the villain, and they instead shoehorned Venom in last minute. So this is the second time that John Malkovich is supposed to be playing a Marvel villain and did not make it into the film. So sorry, John. I know that your whole career is riding on these characters, and I hope that you can recuperate from this. Maybe Red Ghost will show up later, or maybe they'll give him a good villain that people have actually heard of. Who knows?
Yeah. We hope.
Yeah. Moving along from that, Nintendo dropped the news today that they have officially cast their live-action Link and Zelda for the Legend of Zelda movie. So Zelda is being cast as Bo Bragason, and Link is going to be portrayed by Benjamin Evan Ainsworth.
Okay.
So Randy, if you could leave that image up just a second longer. So these are our leads for the live action Legend of Zelda movie. Zelda at the top there, Link at the bottom. And I don't know, I can see it, a couple of blonde wigs and some, a Peter Pan costume for the kid. Like, yeah.
I'm not sold until I hear his
yeah. I think that'll be the interesting preposition for it. How much is Link going to talk? You can go ahead and take that down. How much is Link going to talk? Because if the Link actor is like very vocal, I don't know. Does it work?
I'd have to see it. I'm not going to shoot it down. I'm going to see.
Should be a running joke throughout the whole thing that he keeps trying to talk but keeps getting interrupted.
That would be funny.
That would be good. I would watch that.
Like Navi just goes, "Hey,
listen."
That's also important. Who's going to voice like Navi?
Well, it depends if which story they're doing, also, because Navi's only in.
Call her Navi.
Yeah, Navi's only in.
Is Navi copyright
Ocarina of Time? So
Airbender.
That reminds me. Has anybody ever seen the Ryan Reynolds movie Waiting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know the trainee that never gets to speak until
yes,
to the very end.
Exactly that. That would be so great.
That would be the best.
Billy says, I'm a little disappointed that it wasn't Hunter girl from Euphoria for Zelda.
Yeah, I think she was
honestly
visually a spot-on Zelda. And
I'm sure these two will do great. but
She is a little older than this Zelda, though, I would say. So it seems like they're just going younger, and maybe not that
Yeah.
they didn't think she was a good option.
I mean, honestly, that's a good move, making them a little younger. I mean, you could definitely make more movies and have them age reasonably, you know.
I hope they do the story from Link to the Past. It's my favorite Legend of Zelda game. I hope they do the story from Link to the Past. It is probably going to be more like they'll either do the original Legend of Zelda game or they will pull from Breath of the Wild for it. So
I hope they do
Would not
Skyward
be
Sword.
I'm good with that.
yeah, is that your favorite Zelda game?
No, I just know that's one that people don't care
Oh.
about that much.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time's like my
Time.
second favorite, but my first favorite is Link to the Past. That's the best one for my money, I think. CJ said at that age you can do the Oracles or Link to the Past. Yeah, I think that the younger Link leads to a lot of that. You could do Link to the Past. You could do Link's Awakening. You could do, Oracle of Ages. You could do the what's the cell shaded one? Wind Waker. Yeah, you could do Wind Waker, Minish Cap. Like, there's a lot to pull from with a younger Link than to lean into kind of the more adult Link stories like Skyward Sword and what's the Twilight Princess is the other one where I think Link is an adult the whole game. So
Billy says Twilight Princess Zelda was an adult. Hunter could have done that. She already looks elven.
yeah, no, absolutely. I just it seems to me like I don't think that it was internet hate that led to Hunter not being cast as Zelda. I think it's just that they were looking for younger actors than what she represents. But anyway, so that about does it for our news. I hope these stories didn't just graze you. This has been the bullet points. So welcome back to the show. Omari, do you want to tell us a little bit about BlackTooth Studios, what you guys do, what your mission statement is, and then we will field some questions towards you from the hosts. Hopefully Jen remembers all the really good ones she was asking before we went live, and we will all kind of just, drive you crazy with our incessant questioning.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess the hard and fast way to say it is BlackTooth Publishing, and the whole company has kind of been an idea of mine. Being a person that's always been in the comic books and just wanting to be able to give people the platform to express themselves unapologetically and kind of not get tied up in editors or going after what might be attractive to the market. So initially, we put out 3 comics, 3 one-shots, just to give people a taste of what we got going on. And our next release it's going to either launch on Indiegogo and Kickstarter, one before the other, either in August or either late August or early September. It's going to be a novel. So like I said, what BlackTooth is all about is just being able to put things in the hands of the creators and being able to do stuff that's kind of rad and a little bit off center, stuff that you might not typically expect. And like being a big comic book fan, unfortunately, like I get the ick whenever I see somebody in spandex and like in tights or something new, because I'm like, I've seen the subversion of that. So I want something new, something original, something that'll just what do they say in Blades of Glory? Something provocative that'll get the people going.
Yeah, I am a huge indie comics fan as well. My interests do fall more Marvel than DC, but I have a background in DC comics as well. But there's a lot of indie comics that I've been a big fan of as well, like Scud the Disposable Assassin, Poison Elves, oh God, what is it? I'm drawing a blank on the name right now, but there's a comic, an indie comic that I really loved, Luther Strode, which is incredible. If you haven't read it, the story is wild. I always supported what Image was trying to do whenever they turned away from the other big creators, and we've gotten some really great properties out of that, whether it's Chew or Invincible or the Walking Dead comics or what they've been able to do, creating a smaller indie label that blew up. So I can only hope that you guys are able to find that kind of success and find that kind of audience. Your art looks incredible. We've got a couple images, a couple of comic covers that Randy has set up. He's going to throw them up so you guys can see what they do. But like, when did you first get the idea to start your own indie label, and how did that come about, as far as like getting people on with you and getting that thing rolling?
So I laugh and joke with people and say like I grew up in the comic books. My dad was a big comic book collector, so like I grew up around long boxes and have always been flipping my fingers through like Image books or Milestone books, or like the late '90s DC era where Chuck Dixon is writing Robin and you have Denny O'Neil and like all that sort of stuff. So that's been the stuff that I've always seen. And
Yeah.
I laugh and I guess like also being a kid, like a kid born in the late '90s, and like when manga started like really seeping into pop culture, and you hear that Kishimoto is like writing and drawing Naruto and that Toriyama's writing and drawing Dragon Ball. I didn't realize that like people worked for Marvel and DC. Like I literally
Right.
everybody that was making comics were like creating this stuff, like literally. So it's like I never had the aspiration to, want to work for Marvel or DC or like kind of, draw Batman or Spider-Man or anything. Like when I was a little kid, it was like, all right, so if I want to make comics, like let me come up with something. So I've always kind of like from composition notebooks to sketch pads, like always kind of been doing my own thing. But, I like most parents, like you see these things, but like, it doesn't seem attainable. So I got pushed by my parents to like, get a real job and do like real boring corporate America business people stuff.
Right.
So I did that, did school again and got an MBA and like was in corporate America until the world closed.
Yeah.
And once the world closed and I had nothing to and I couldn't go to the comic shop to spend money there or couldn't go out to dinner or do anything else, I'm like, all right. I took some time, went back to my mother's house, and at the time was like talking to my girlfriend at the time a lot. Just she'd always been tagging along with me to comic book conventions, and like I was always that guy going to the panel of like how to break into comics, and like I have probably ruined several movies being like they should have done this or they should have done that. But like I said, during the pandemic, like when I went back home to my mother's house and I picked up those old sketchbooks and all those old like scribbles and things like that, like I sat down and looked at it with my corporate America brain of like, all right, if I'm gonna have a company and I'm gonna do things like this is how I'm gonna do it, and put together a whole plan and found a mentor that helped me out as far as like, oh, you need to ask an artist for sequential artwork. You don't just go to them and say draw this or do that, and you network. You go here, you meet places, and put the whole thing together from there.
Yeah.
So when it sounds like when you get inspired, what does that look like to you? Is it something where you're like, I have to absolutely get this out of my head right now, I'm going to explode? Or is it something where you have to kind of like systematically go through stuff like storyboard things, do a sketch, erase it a little bit, tweak it? What does it look like to you?
I want to say it's a mixture of both. I'm definitely like I laugh, and when people ask me the process, I say it's like if you've ever talked to a little kid. Like the first step of my process is like an idea will pop in my head,
Yeah.
and I'll like go to the notes section on my phone and just write a really long run-on sentence of like, all right, title, or if it's a character, or even if it's just a superpower, and I'm like, all right, so this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens because that person is mad at him, and that's the reason why everything is going crazy. Like it'll be like I said, if a little kid is telling you a story that they're making up on the spot where they're just going through a bunch of stuff, and then I'll use that to base everything else off. Like I'm like, all right, so there's about 4 major characters here. Okay, if this would be really cool if everybody dressed like they were in the 50s, because why not? Like it's a comic book. Like I can do whatever the fuck I want. Like let me dress them up like they're in the 50s. I'm like, all right, if they're dressed up like they're in the 50s, like fuck it, let's set it on Mars. Like I start finding the fun ways systematically to tie it in there. And, kind of put it together from there and like break it down to, the science that we call comic books after, indulging in my, younger self's ramblings.
Yeah, that's really cool, and those off the beaten path stories are like, that's what's really interesting, is that you're not chained to like editorial or creative above you that's like, no, it has to be specifically this all the time in this world doing this thing,
Yeah, and
So
that's oh yeah, go ahead.
no, I just wanted to ask, like, so I'm always really interested in people's like artistic processes. I know you're kind of touching on it a little bit, but when you have what would be considered like a writer's block, what inspires you? What do you go and do? What helps?
For me, like I it's very funny. Like I literally was just I met Paul Levitz recently, and well, when I say recently, I met him at New York Comic Con last year, and I finally was able to get him on the phone and talk to him and kind of asked him what he does for writer's block. And Paul gave me kind of some of the best advice I've ever got, and it was like, if this is going to be your job, it has to be a job. And it's like when you go to regular work, wherever that might be, like there's no driver's block when you're a truck driver. You keep driving, like even if a basketball player, like, whether it's Luca, whoever, like if you have a bad game, you don't just sit on the bench, you keep playing. So for me, if I run into a moment where like I'm having a hard time, it's like I didn't realize I was doing it, but it's like, all right, sometimes I'll go back and reread something, or I'll just jump somewhere else. So being that I do a couple different series and have a couple different things going on, it's like if I run out of gas at a certain point, it's like, all right, close this doc, open this next one, or all right, let me look at these character designs. Like I kind of stair step a lot of projects, so it's like if at one point something stresses me out, I can jump to something else and jump back and give myself a little bit of a break.
Okay.
So we've got some images from your stuff here that Randy's going to put up if you want to talk about them.
Yeah, for sure. So, that one's from my manga. It's called Dogpile. So I like to, give people a log line of like, after a mysterious accident, a man alongside 7 dogs, is trying to figure out what happened and, save the world and, kind of just do good. So I look at it this way, man. Like I like to tell people that story is like an interpretation of dealing with grief and kind of, I don't want to say like he has a hero's calling where he's like, oh God, I just have to save the day. It's like he just wants to be a good person, but being that he's not quite sure what happened or why he lost his family, he's kind of directionless because it's almost like he's trying to impress people that would be impressed regardless.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's
Yeah.
like my family's not here. If I'm here, I have to do something great, but we don't know what that great thing that he needs to be doing is. Nobody told him to do anything. He doesn't really have to do anything but, live and carry on his own life. But, dealing with that guilt and that burden of, trying to carry on, trying to figure things out. So, that story has been there. And it's also about finding a new family because he has 7 dogs that are there with him fighting crime and kind of helping him along and things like that.
Yeah.
Fun fact for everybody, like those dogs are also inspired by dogs that like I've encountered in my real life and like my family has had.
I love that.
So like the Rottweiler, like my father had a Rottweiler. The white dog, it's a Pekingese. My mother has had a Pekingese. The Golden Retriever. My aunt had a Golden Retriever named Shaka. So they're kind of all inspired by dogs that either my friends have had or family members have had. That it's like
I was just going to ask, do you just have a shit ton of dogs in your house and you were like, oh yeah, they should go in my comic?
So yeah, I grew up with just one, but like so many people I knew had dogs or like have been around dogs, and dogs are definitely one of my favorite animals. So even my girlfriend now has a dog, so I can't escape them.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, there's a reason they're called man's best friend. Dogs are awesome.
Yeah.
So so I see that you kind of like put kind of, I don't know if it's intentional or not, like parts of you into your work. Is there any other like things that you like, I don't know if you're like the character and you kind of wanted to go on a certain adventure, so that's what you kind of write about in your comic book, or is there like other situations where you take something from your life and you put it into comics? Because I think that really like resonates with a lot of people and it makes it a lot more personal and people really like identify with that.
Yeah, for me, I would say it's definitely inspired by either situations or kind of questions I have. Or like I almost like use comics as a medium to explore like a hypothesis. Like for my book Snakebite, right, which is another one of the debut one shots, like I don't want to say it's like it's inspired by a moment in my life, but kind of told through the purview of superpowers. So aside from being in the comic books, I also am a big like punk rock and hardcore kid. Like I've been straight edge since I was like 15 years old. So I've never like drank or smoked or did anything. I was a head walker, a hate mosher, a crowd surfer. Like I played guitar, I played bass. I was like really into bands and music. And I say Snakebite is inspired by that time point in my life because being, wanting to play guitar and wanting to play metal and hardcore, to be able to play guitar, you have to sit in the house and like I really had to like grind out and like play guitar.
Man.
But at that same time, like friends in my neighborhood and like friends that lived around me, like they were starting to misbehave. People were starting to get into trouble. People were starting to like experiment with like drugs and like, gang banging and things like that. And it's like I had to make the choice. Do I stay in house and on Friday nights, instead of going to parties, do I go see
Yeah.
Asking Alexandria? Do I go to this hate breed and down to nothing show? Or do I run around and do all these sort of things? So that's kind of what inspired Snakebite because the main character, he gets into a little bit of trouble and then he gets tattoos. His tattoos give him superpowers. So now he has to decide if he's going to keep getting in trouble with his friends or if he's going to use his superpowers and kind of explore the possibilities of possibly being a hero or
Yeah.
what can happen there.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, that's
I like
cool,
that.
man.
That's awesome.
Our friend Claudio is in the chat. He said if he had his way, if he had the opportunity, he'd put all of his cats in a comic or in a book/comic, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
How many cats do you have? Don't answer that.
We don't need
But
to know.
yeah, dude. So you've just piqued my interest as well in you as a human being. What's the best show you've ever been to out of all the ones you've seen?
Oh my God. So this is going to be difficult because like I will say so. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of the band called The Chariot, but they're like a noise band from out of Georgia. I was at their final tour. If anybody ever looks up a live video of The Chariot, because they play like noise or like what people call math rock or whatever, they're very insane. Like they'll literally run in the crowd. They'll crowd surf playing guitar. So seeing The Chariot on their final tour was crazy. I saw Dillinger on their final tour. That was pretty wild. I because they've like blown up. It's very fun for me to say, but like I grew up in Richmond, Virginia, which is close to Baltimore.
That's
So
where I am. Hi.
oh yeah, Richmond, yeah. So I grew up in Richmond, and so I was a part of the Richmond hardcore scene. So I got to see Turnstile play in houses in super small clubs, and now Turnstile is on late night television. So like thinking
Cool
about
that.
like thinking about like those Turnstile shows or like seeing it like the guys in Turnstile or a few of them were in Trapped Under Ice, a few of them were in Angel Dust and stuff like that. So like being there for those moments was like really cool. Like, like I've seen Whitechapel in super small clubs, like
Yeah.
like in if you're in Richmond, you've probably heard of United Blood. Like my first ever United Blood like hate breed headline. So it's like, I've had a bunch of epic show moments. Like so, I want to say like the Chariot's probably like a top tier show. Like seeing them on their final tour. Another one that's close to my heart is R.I.P. Mitch Lucker from Asking Alexandria. Like I got to see him in 2013 on All Stars. Like in August, Mitch died in November, and that was like the first time I got to see Suicide Silence, and like, that was like a big thing for me.
So I like Suicide Silence. Asking Alexandria is not my thing. It's my wife's thing, and I've tried. I've really, really tried, but it's her favorite band. It's not my favorite band.
I fall off after the second record. Like I like Stand Up and Scream. I love the second record. After that, Danny went country. They brought in the new guy, but old school, like Asking Alexandria. Like I also saw Motionless before they were big. Like
Motionless is cool. I've seen. I'm in a little heavier than that. But like.
How heavy? Because I'm also a big death metal guy. Like I've seen.
Me too.
I've seen Cannibal. If you guys want, like I have a picture. I have a picture of Corpse Grinder holding up dog files. So.
Oh, that's cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, see, I'm into that. I like Corpse Grinder. What's that? What's that, Jen?
I was like, he's with his people. We're all like, oh, death metal, woo!
Yeah. I like.
Keep it along.
I fall into like melodic metal, death metal, satanic metal. Dimmu Borgir was a big band for me during my like developmental years and like my teens and stuff. I love Dimmu. In Flames is huge for me. I've seen them live. They were awesome. And then Rage Against the Machine was big for me, like from like my early years. I've seen them like 4 times. The last time was whenever they did their reunion tour in Alpine Valley, Wisconsin, and we destroyed the outdoor stadium, which was great. But yeah, like, and then I was really into new metal because I was a teenager whenever it came out. So like Korn, Slipknot, Disturbed. Disturbed is okay, but like they've gotten so soft as they've gotten older. Korn's like first couple albums were good, and then they weren't after that. Slipknot stays good. I mean, they had a weird period there.
I luckily I got to see Slipknot on this most recent tour for the first time ever, and I'm like, Corey, you sound like the record. Thank you so much. Like this makes me happy.
I've seen Slipknot twice. The first time they were just like an opening act, and the second time they were actually the headliner. And Joey Jordison was still with them, and that was crazy because before he passed. Yeah. And then I just went and saw Weird Al. So like my music tastes are all over the place, but
me as well. Like you mentioned Joey, and I think of Murder Dolls with him and Wednesday 13, where I was also a big fan of them. So
yeah. CJ said he's talking about Korn. He said everything after Transistor sucks. Was I'm assuming he's talking about Twisted Transistor. They were bad before then, but
way bad.
Yeah. At least in my view.
There was a glimmer of hope when Head rejoined the band. Like it was a small glimmer of hope, but
we hope.
The last time I saw Korn, which I've seen them a handful of times, but the last time I saw them was a few years ago, and they were here. Well, I'm like an hour and a half south of St. Louis, but they were in St. Louis at a really small nightclub, and it was fucking awesome. Like. They had the magic back. They did their like greatest hits, and they killed it. And the whole original band is back now, with the exception of David, who can't drum anymore. But their new drummer was fine. But yeah, they were great. And then I love Iron Maiden. I like power metal. Judas Priest, and my favorite band is Unleash the Archers. They're a power metal band out of Canada that has had limited success. But I saw them at the Forge in Chicago, and they fucking killed. So.
See Green Jelly.
Oh yeah, Green Jelly's like going to be local in the when is it September? In September, like they're going to be like in one of these small towns, like 20 minutes from us, because a guy that lives there is friends with them and is bringing them to like small town Perryville, Missouri, which is nuts.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's the best.
But all right, cool, man. Well, anybody got any other questions for Omari before we move on?
So we kind of commented it earlier. I was complimenting your impressive collection that you have behind you, sir. What you got behind you?
There's so much stuff. There's even a few things on the floor. Like I'm trying to get into some web tools. I hear this is really good. Everything is fine. Like
okay.
So I have so much stuff. So people can't see this shelf up here, but this is like all my manga. These are like books. Over here is my Batman shelf, which is, comprised of literally every volume of Zack Snyder's. Not Zack Snyder, my bad. Scott Snyder's Batman. The new Superman movie is on my brain. You mentioned earlier Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb. I have this. What is this? 20th anniversary Hush that they gave out at New York Comic Con.
Wow.
and this is like phenomenal. So, DC stuff up here. I'm an amateur artist, so I'm trying to get better. These are a bunch of drawing books. Up here we have Flash stuff. What else is it? Flash stuff, some indie books. What else? Justice League books up here, more Scott's Justice League. I'm a big Scott fan, so I have so much of Scott's stuff. Superman stuff up here. What's this? We got Doomsday. What else? Superman Unchained, another Scott Snyder
That's a
book.
good one.
Uh, you mentioned Marvel stuff, so I'll grab. Sadly, I love Joe Kelly, so I have his Spider-Man things and a few Spider-Man, but I have some. I mentioned it earlier before we were recording. I love Daniel Warren Johnson, so I have his Beta Ray Bill and a bunch of Thor stuff over here, and Bendis. I love Bendis, so I have a bunch of Bendis stuff and a few indies. Like there's stuff everywhere. Do a Power Bomb, James Tynan's Department of Truth. Like I am a certified comic book nerd, so
You might like this. So this is a signed Return of Superman. The issue when he comes back, signed by Jurgens and Breeding. Dan Jurgens and Brett Breeding signed it. The signatures are like right here. You can't really see them, I think, through the image, but like that's Breeding and that's Jurgens there with a certificate of authenticity. And then this comic book magazine. I don't think it's Wizard. It's Comic Talk Extra that are also signed. But that's like one of the coolest things in my collection, I would say. I also have the signed run. He signed the whole run, which was only 3 issues of She by Billy Tucci, which I think is really cool. He was here for a convention one year and he signed all of the issues for me, which was cool. But there's like 4 shelves down here that are all my like single issue comic book collection with a couple of trades in it, and then this up here is like trades and manga and more comics and just a lot of stuff up here.
Yes,
that's one of, and I'm not competing with you. Your collection is awesome, but then there's like more shelves out, not in the studio. There's like one right there actually that usually sits behind him, but his camera's not working right now.
So Omari, you talked about your creative process, which I love. Thank you for sharing that. So what do you see in your future? What is your goal? Like what are you working toward? Like next week, like next month, like what's going on for you?
So for me, the goal is I put it like this, man. The goal is autonomy, and I articulate it as autonomy because it's like I just want to be able to create and just kind of do this. And when I say just kind of do it, it's like do it autonomy. Like I want to be able, to have a studio to where have a little bullpen where it's like, hey guys, last night had a dream. We're gonna do a 3-issue mini. I want you to draw it. Hey, intern dude, you don't know how to edit, but we're gonna have you edit. You're gonna proofread this for us, and the printer's over there. So as soon as you finish drawing, go ahead and scan it in. We're gonna do some test prints because we have the printer in the back, and we're gonna FedEx this and have it shipped out. If we tell people, we're gonna just send it to some random subscribers along with their other orders. Like, I want to be able to kind of do everything in house and be able to fulfill any weird, indulgent idea, and also be able to help other people. Because when I started doing comics, like thank God for my mentor Greg, like I literally went to him and was like, hey man, I have these ideas, and like I saw these artists on Instagram, and he's like, yeah, you don't just yes, you reach out to them, but like you need to see a portfolio. You need to see these things. You need to, have a timetable of like when you want things or like how often. It's like, oh, there's page rates, there's letterers. Like some people just pencil, some people pencil and ink. Like it was kind of those things that you don't learn in the how to write comic book video, like videos or the how to write comic book,
how to be an artist
books. It was kind of those things, and like I want to be able to pass those on to other people, and to have people that I see what a lot of other like indie creators or just independent creators like. They want to do stuff, but they're like, "Oh, how do I pitch to Marvel? How do I pitch the Image? How do I get my books there?" And it's like that stuff is super cool, but it's like because maybe it's the fact that I'm a punk rock kid of where it's like if I have a friend that's telling me they want to play guitar and start a band, like, all right, bro, like, we'll just record your demo for you and then you figure it out later. Like, you don't need a full band. Like, I'll help jam out the record and like we can figure it out from there. So it's like I have it in me to, want to help people and, use my resources and use my assets and network and kind of do what we have to do. That way, a lot of the internet has killed a lot of gatekeeping, but it's like giving so many more people a chance to do things. And,
So we got a couple of questions from commenters that I want to feature before we move along.
Yeah, sure.
Randy, if you want to click on those. So from Nightmare and Nerdscapes, CJ wanted to know what genres within comic books are you most excited to dive into as a creator and as a publisher?
I would say crime stuff, man. I'm a big mob movie guy, so and not to say I would do like a mob comic, but I like stuff about bad guys. So I love movies like Goodfellas, like all the heist movies and things like that. So I haven't done it yet, but I do have a few ideas for like it's gonna be about a villain and like the hero, like he's definitively a villain, and it's like gonna be like a heist. Maybe a heist comic. I'm also a big wrestling fan, so I want to do a wrestling comic. Like, me and my friends are always like fantasy booking. Like, we read Elimination Chamber, so we got to watch Cena turn heel. And anytime I live in New York now, so anytime like the WWE comes to MSG or like anytime like AEW is around, I'm always going. So like. Wrestling, I would say wrestling and crime comics, anything where villains are running around or,
Yeah. So we have some wrestling stuff some wrestling people in our network, Jen being one of them. She is part of the No Gimmicks podcast with Kelvin and
Frankie.
And they do the No Gimmicks podcast, and Frankie is like one of the most knowledgeable wrestling people I have ever met. Now, I've been in wrestling my entire life, and he like blew me out of the water with wrestling facts. Like he knows so much more than I do.
And like Black goes to a lot of like wrestling cons and everything. Like he even has like if you go to the No Gimmicks podcast site on Facebook, he actually got to ask Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, some questions. So it was.
And he was just
really
at
cool.
the AEW All In event that happened in Texas last week.
I hate Hangman, but we are happy Moxley is no longer holding the title hostage.
Oof. Yeah. So yeah, we definitely have some wrestling people in the DFPN family, which is our network. And yeah, dude, maybe I have to hook you up with those guys too. They're cool as shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, but cool, man. This has been awesome talking to you about this. And you wanted to hang out for the rest, right?
Yeah, for sure. I haven't seen Superman, so I'm gonna mute myself then because I don't want to be spoiled.
Oh, you're gonna hear some spoilers, yeah, if you hang out. I guess I'll wave you out whenever we're done talking about Superman then.
For sure.
Okay, cool. Well, then we are going to go into the 3 cuts and talk about Superman. So Superman came out last week. I think it dropped domestically on Thursday. There were some pre-screenings that people got to be a part of, which was pretty big. And I will say, like, we did a wild speculation segment on it, and none of my wild fan theories were accurate. And I think Randy and Landon had some pretty accurate ones going into it.
I
but
meant to rewatch and see if I was wrong.
Yeah,
but
I don't remember the points, but I remember that mine were pretty wacky, and Landon and Randy were kind of like in line with what people were kind of guessing was going to be the case, and it absolutely was. So anyway, we will go into the review. So cut 1, our first cut, the good. What does this do well? It does a lot well. I have said multiple times on the show over the last year or so that I was not confident that James Gunn understood Superman in a way that he could make a good Superman movie. And I waited. I wanted to watch it before I gave my final opinion, and he did. He nailed it.
Good.
The thing that I love about Superman, specifically like the Tim Daly animated Adventures of Superman, is that he's not so fucking powerful that nobody can do anything with him. And that's the Superman we got in this. He is, he's not move the earth because he needs to powerful. He's like really, really strong, but not like you can see in the kaiju fight. He can't lift the kaiju. And it depends on the version of Superman you get in the comics, whether he's so powerful that he can lift the weight of the earth for 5 days straight without taking a break, which is the highest height of Superman's power that was featured in the New 52, to the original Superman, who was more powerful than a locomotive and could leap tall buildings in a single bound, but he wasn't like rip a planet in half powerful. And this Superman we got in this is somewhere in between there, and it plays well. It makes sense that he has fights with people and that he struggles. And that's what Superman does best. It's that he's a Kansas farm boy, and he isn't like out here, bragging that he's a super genius like Lex Luthor, but Superman is an advanced race. He's from an advanced race of people, and he is smart. He's smarter than your average person, and he can use his combination of brains and strength to solve problems that he cannot solve independently with brains or with strength, but he uses both to great effect. And that's what's incredible about Superman. And that is the Superman that we got. Some people talk about like the Robert Pattinson Batman being the first one who's kind of a detective. And that was so far removed from what Batman is as a character in the Robert Pattinson Batman. But this is the closest to comic book Superman that I have ever seen on screen. And I think James Gunn understands the character in a way that makes him work in a universe where these things exist, where metahumans exist, where Superman is a possibility, and that the DC universe, the broader DC universe, still exists within this universe. There's a long history leading back from the Golden Age, the Justice Society. The Justice Society existed at one point in this universe, and we'll feature later. We have the murals in the Hall of Justice that show Dr. Fate and Wildcat and some of the older DC characters, which I think was really, really cool, and I'm glad they did that. So we get dropped into a DC universe that exists. It exists along the lines of what the comics do. And Batman's probably been Batman for a while. We do get a scene that shows the exit to Gotham City during the evacuation of the town. The movie takes place over 1 week of Superman's life, and he has been Superman for 3 years actively at this point. So very similar to the way they launched the New 52, where Superman had been around for a little bit, but Batman had been around longer. And I think it did a really good job of not being chained to Superman's origin, doing a little twist on the story of Superman with his Kryptonian heritage that makes sense. I will say I have a handful of times referred to Invincible as Ultimate Superman, like the best version of what Superman could be. And they leaned into that for this Superman. Now, this is also a comic storyline called Superman Birthright that has a very similar origin for the Kryptonians that the Vulture might have in the Invincible comics. So you can't say they ripped off Invincible. This was also a story that was introduced in Superman the exact same year that Invincible premiered. So it's not a ripoff of Invincible, but it's a cool angle that they added to the Kryptonian origins. I love the inclusion of the Fortress robots. They were very much drawn from the All-Star Superman movie, but I thought they were a great addition. Kal-X has been a Superman standard for a very, very long time, and we now have the Fortress robots canon in a movie, which is cool. Instead of it just being like a big fucking crystal cave in the middle of nowhere with nothing but Superman and some crystals, it is actually a structure that he can live in, and that it has facilities in it, which is cool. So I thought the Fortress was good. I thought Superman skipping its origin was good. I thought dropping us in the middle of the DCU was good. I thought the Justice Gang was cool. I'm glad that this is a universe where other superheroes exist, and it's not Superman in an echo chamber, a la the Snyderverse or the Christopher Reeves or Superman Returns or any of that, where you just get one guy and the other superheroes haven't really shown up yet. This is a world where they already had metahumans, and then they got the strongest one. So I think it's cool. I think the movie was very well done. I loved Crypto. You will hear a lot of people talking about Crypto. He was very well done. I enjoyed him. I don't give a shit that he's modeled after James Gunn's dog. I just think it was cool that we got an on-screen Crypto. We also see we see Supergirl on screen. I can't wait to see what they do with that character, because she's a very different iteration of Supergirl than we have seen in the past. So I'm excited to see what they do with the Millie Alcock Supergirl character. She's kind of like a wild party girl. So I don't know where that's going, because Kara is usually like the wholesome, like teen, like golden age teen, regardless of where she shows up in Superman comics, unless she's a shape-shifting alien, which is probably not the version we're going to get. But moving away from that, I think the pacing was good. I think the story was good. I think Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor was good. I enjoyed Metamorpho being included. This really did seem like we were just hanging out in the regular DC comic universe, but on live screen, which is what I've wanted for the longest time for the DC superhero movies, because as was mentioned before we went live, that's what the animated DC movies do so well. They take place within an existent DC universe, and they give you a lot of different characters, and they don't necessarily give you their history or their introduction. They just drop them in it, like Justice League Unlimited did, like the Superman, the Adventures of Superman cartoon did, like the Batman the Animated Series did. And this does that very well. And I think that was the right choice. And I think it's been a long time coming that there isn't a need to justify each character in their own thing before you bring them together. And they can kind of skip past that 10-year phase that Marvel had to go through for the MCU. And I think that was a smart choice. So cut to the bad, the second cut, the bad. So what is bad in this movie? There is the crass James Gunn humor. Apparently it was worse before. They cut a lot of it out, but it's in here. There's some of it falls on Guy Gardner. Some of it falls on some of the kind of peripheral characters that aren't necessarily main characters. So some of the supporting cast, the thing with like Lex Luthor, like locking up his ex-girlfriend and some other guy, like a bunch of random people that don't, they're just people Lex Luthor knew, and he's just been locking them up in the super prison, and like nobody noticed. You don't hear anybody talking about it.
They didn't notice. Like he's just, I thought that was funny because it's like he's just so petty.
He's super petty. Yeah, absolutely agree with that.
Random people who he just doesn't like.
But like, does he ever plan to let any of them go? Like, what was his plan? Like, keep them locked up forever? Like forever? Because there's people in there that clearly they haven't been in there terribly long. Like that bit was supposed to be funny, but I don't think it was very well thought out, which made that whole thing kind of hard to believe for me. Because I was like, it makes sense if like he was going to keep them for a day, but he's clearly not planning to ever release these people. How long have they been in here? You know? So that was, the super prison was kind of weird for me. The fact that we never get a definitive answer to what Ultraman is, and the fact that Ultraman was a bait and switch for what is most likely a Bizarro version, a new version of Bizarro. And I don't know that we'll ever get a crime syndicate storyline that goes to the alternate universe where Superman's a villain and thrives on kryptonite. But I will say, like, it seemed like kind of a waste to throw the Ultraman name out there and us never get Ultraman in it. Like, there were just other ways to do that than a bait and switch on the Ultraman identity, I think. So that kind of pissed me off. And I'm not just mad because he wasn't actually secretly Doomsday underneath the suit. That was just a fun idea. I thought would be neat, but also I can understand them wanting to stay away from Doomsday for, a new iteration of the DCU. But I just wasn't happy about the fact that James Gunn decided to leverage the Ultraman name, a long running Superman villain, and slap it on a different character like it doesn't matter. That was aggravating for me. Will we ever see that Superman clone back? Will we get Bizarro in the DCU? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But that was that bothered me. And then the there's a scene in here where Lex accidentally kills someone faster than he intends to, and he just shrugs it off. Like, the fact that he did that and it was handled the way that it was, and then Superman doesn't immediately fly him into a fucking prison cell whenever he's free again, was kind of shit. I mean, I understand that he needs to go through like a process of like letting the police handle it or whatever and getting Lex arrested. And I know he had bigger fish to fry at that, like the later junction in the movie after he had proof that Lex had done all this other bad shit. But it's like never mentioned again that Lex just shot a guy in front of Superman and he didn't really get the chance to do anything about it. Like that, I would have liked to have seen something done with that. It seemed like a shock and awe scene put in the movie that they never handled beyond that, which bothered me.
He's on the front page at the end. Like Clark wrote a story about him.
Yes,
but that is like, it was done in a way where it was like, we'll show that he's evil and is willing to kill somebody, but also it's not handled with like the weight that it like
yeah.
Superman reacts in like an appropriate way, but like
for it, he reacts in an appropriate way in the moment and then forgets about it.
It's not as intense of a moment as it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because it's the first like death we see, and it's like it's a normal person who's like, you know, helped him earlier, and like, you know, not it's pretty big moment that they do kind of glaze over pretty quickly, where it's not given the weight that, like you're saying, it should.
Yeah. Also, Ultraman gets this is another thing, CJ. So don't forget that black hole. Ultraman gets sucked into a black hole, and somebody I saw somebody that was like talking about it. They're like, well, that may lead to the creation of the Bizarroverse. No, that's not how black holes work. If he got sucked into that, he doesn't exist anymore. He was compressed into the finest level of atoms that anything can be. He's smaller than the tip of a needle at this point and will not be coming back. That wouldn't make any sense. He's completely destroyed. But, you know, it's super science in a DC universe, so maybe it was a wormhole and not a black hole, and he'll pop out the other side in a Bizarroverse. Anyway, so beyond that, Mr. Terrific was great. I enjoyed him. I loved the character. I didn't care for Hawk Girl screaming or screeching as she attacked people. That seemed weird.
That's not the most like underused.
That's not a thing Hawk Girl's known for doing, making bird screeches. The like hawk element of their costume is because Thanagarians created wings and they kind of look like a hawk, but the fact that she actually has a hawk scream that's closer to like what Black Canary does was really weird. Yeah.
She was the most underutilized of the three, and they kind of like, they gave her like moments, but not as much as Guy or Mr. Terrific. So
right.
I do think she was like underutilized, and like she has a big moment, but it's sort of like in all the other scenes where like they're just talking, she doesn't really have a ton to say. She makes like a quip here and quip there, and then it's screeching as she flies through the air.
And this is a personal gripe for me, but I know James Gunn decided to go for like a more modern, like farm family for Ma and Pa Kent in this. And Pa Kent's fine, but why does Ma Kent feel like she was pulled out of a movie from the 1950s with her Southern accent? Like nobody was like, got her a dialect coach and was like, people don't actually talk like this, because she's like a caricature of what a Southern person talks like. And that part of Kansas isn't even that Southern.
There are people who talk like that, but like if you know someone who's Southern, they ham it up.
It's rough.
Like, they have like, like you have your customer service voice. You have like your Southern dialect voice that you kind of put on to be like, oh, a sweetheart. And she was putting it on real thick the whole time. Yeah,
in her own home with her own kid and her own husband.
So
like CJ said, actually reminded me of my mom. Interesting. But yeah, that was a personal gripe for me. I just think the accent was a bit much, but that, actors are going to do what actors are going to do. And I guess James Gunn was like, yeah, that's what a Southern person sounds like. But so beyond that, there wasn't a lot bad. I think the movie was Mr. Terrific. I do have one thing, and it's actually a James Gunn complaint, not a Mr. Terrific complaint. But I've heard comparisons between the Mr. Terrific fight, where he fights all the people in the LexCorp armor or the Luthor Corp armor, compared to Yondu. And it definitely is. He was like, he took the scene from Guardians of the Galaxy 2 where Yondu kills all of the Ravagers, and he remade it with Mr. Terrific and his T-Spheres. The fact that James Gunn is so like, this worked in one movie, so I'll use it in another one, and he does it over and over and over again. Mr. Terrific was cool as shit. It just could have been done entirely different instead of a fight scene with a guy flinging things around with red traces, beating the shit out of a bunch of people where he just makes hand gestures instead of whistling. It's pretty goddamn close to the Yondu fight. And I would have liked to have seen something more original out of him than to just clone something that was really successful in another movie.
I agree with that, but also like this whole movie could be broken down and it's Scooby-Doo all over again, because it's the main character and his CGI dog, and then his 3 buddies that he goes and like does things with to solve the real estate issue.
Yes,
that is being like planned, and like there's even an unmasking. So I was like, this is Scooby-Doo. It's like,
it kind of is,
it's better Scooby-Doo. But it's kind of Scooby-Doo-esque.
James Gunn took a lot of bold swings in
problem
this. James Gunn took a lot of bold swings in this movie, and a lot of them paid off. But that one for me was just like, come on, dude. Can you? I get that most of his original, but he cannot help himself but regurgitate an idea he used previously in a new version, and it's fine. Everything he makes is Guardians of the Galaxy over and over again, and it was like, this is Superman with the rest of the Guardians. There's the spunky animal character, which is Rocket, and then Crypto. You know, there's his love interest, who's like a tough as nails woman who's trying to keep him straight. There's the silly character, which is Captain America. There's the asshole, which is your Peter Quill character, which is Guy Gardner. There's your genius, which is Mr. Terrific, or a person who takes things too seriously, which is Drax. And then you have your like Mantis type character in Hawkgirl. So it's all in there. It's fine. Other than, it's great though. It worked really well in this. That's the good. The bad, there's very little bad. So the aftermath, third cut, the aftermath, I would rate this at we're never going to figure out which arm goes to which corpse. So that is where I would put this in aftermath score. I'll make a scale at some point for you guys, but place that where you think it makes sense. But anyway, so that is my impressions of Superman. Randy, did you have anything to add?
I think you covered pretty much everything. I loved it. It like, again, like there's very little like bad in it. I think it's really well cast. Just like pretty much everybody is perfect in their role. Like, you know, like Hawkgirl didn't get like a everything to do, like, you know, dialogue wise. I think she could have been, you know, more included, but like she's like her character, like what her actress did in this movie was great. Everybody like Eve, Tessmacher, like she plays her role to perfection. Perry White, like he's awesome. Jimmy Olsen is really fun in this movie too. And like the establishment of, like, you know, like you said, we get dropped into the movie like in media res, and I think that's a really fun way to like. There's not an opening crawl, but like you know, it's like 3 centuries ago, metahumans appeared in the world. 3 decades ago, Superman arrived on Earth. 3 years ago, he announced himself in like he moved to Metropolis and announced himself as Superman. 3 days ago, sets up the plot.
Had his first loss.
3 minutes ago, he lost his first fight.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a very concise, very good, just quick storytelling. Like, not too much, not, you know, like dwelling on things, and then it's just right in it. It's like, I think I saw someone describe it as like you've opened a comic book that's like issue 2 or 3, and you just hop right in. Which
is what Donner did as well. Mm-hmm. The original Superman the movie opens with a small child reading a Superman comic, and he opens the pages and it goes into the Daily Planet. Mm-hmm. And then movie goes from there. So that's meant to take place inside a comic book. And I feel like, yeah, James Gunn definitely paid homage to that and did a good job of showcasing the very comic booky nature of it.
The only one thing that I really wish they would have done, like this is my one wish for this, is which you see it in the trailer. Crypto is at Ma and Pa Kent's when Superman's there, and like again, I think in the trailer he's unruly. The dog is unruly. It's fun. I wish there was a moment, because like you said, Ma and Pa Kent like are a little bit weird with how they're used, I think. And like, you know, like the the voice that Ma Kent's doing is Whitey, kind of funny. But I wish it was Ma and Pa Kent could get a handle on crypto. Like he listens to them just because they're so like good and pure of heart that like he just like they're the one person that like they're like, hey, get over here, or like whistle, and like he like comes and he sits and like he's very well behaved for Ma and Pa Kent.
The Kansas Kryptonian whisperers.
Everyone else he's a menace to. I thought that would be like a fun touch, and just give them like a little trait where it's like, oh, they're just like they're kind of just good at this for like no real reason except they're like adorable, because like they are adorable.
Yeah,
and I do love that about them, where they're just like adorable, because like Ma Kent says several times about Pa Kent be like, oh, you know, he's just, and like he just kind of like is shy. Like Pa Kent's kind of like shy and like loves his son so much, and it's like really cute, like the relationship they have.
Yeah.
And,
so not necessarily a criticism, just something Randy wished he could have seen. But yeah, that concludes our coverage of Superman. If you guys have anything you'd like to add, feel free. If you got any hot takes you want to put in the comments, go ahead. I know, Joey, have you seen it? Joey hasn't seen it. Jen, have you seen it?
Yeah.
And Amari, you haven't seen it yet either? Okay. Well, if you guys, hopefully I didn't ruin too much for you. The movie's great. Go see it. You'll appreciate it when you do, especially you being a big DC fan, Amari. But anyway, moving on, we're going to do our new segment that we're trying out called How Would You? And then here's where like the transition would come in. I haven't made it yet. It's fine. But anyway, so
we had the Universal one, don't we?
I don't think it's up in the. Do you have it up?
What is it?
The one she made that's like placeholder. It doesn't matter.
I don't think so.
Doesn't matter. We will get that going later. But anyway, so how this works, I have 20 sentence modifiers. And then 20 characters from the Superman movie. So we are going, here's the list. Randy is going to roll 2d20. We will present the scenario, and then the other person has to explain how they would do whatever the scenario is. So I will present to Jen first. Jen will present to Joey. Joey will present to Amari. Amari, you will get to present to Randy. And then Randy will present to me, I guess. No. We'll have Amari present to me. He's the special guest. He will present to me. So we'll do me to Jen, Jen to Joey, Joey to Randy. Oh, no. How am I going to do this? Me to Jen.
How about you four? I'll watch.
Jen to... No, you're here. You're taking part in it. Me to Jen, Jen to Joey, Joey to Randy... Randy to Amari, Amari to me. Perfect. That works great. All right, Randy, go ahead and give us the first roll, and I will present to Jen.
3 and 5.
We have 15 and a nat 20.
Nat 20 on the roll. Okay.
And I'm so sad that I wasn't able to pull this up, because I wanted to get there's an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh where they play Dungeon Dice Monsters, and like every time he rolls the dice, he goes dice roll. And I wanted to get that audio for.
So we have 15 and 20. This could not have worked out better. Randy, go ahead and take that image back down. So Jen, how would you dress Metamorpho? So in this scenario, it is your responsibility to dress Metamorpho like he's a normal human being, and that he can walk out in the street. Something nice, something classy. How would you go about doing so?
I definitely need a hat. So I'm thinking more Indiana Jones, like a fedora. We definitely need to put some sunblock on, because, you know, we don't want him to get sunburnt. He looks like he's got really light skin. Probably like some really big, like chunky, like Kim Kardashian glasses. I know I said the K word. Probably thinking maybe like I don't know. I'm thinking suit. We're going with the fedora hat. Let's do a suit. He's going to go a night out. I think he's even going to use a cane because he's a snazzy kind of guy.
Are you stuck like a zoot suit? Like you're gonna put him in a pimp suit?
Yes, double-breasted and everything.
Like Big Feather?
She's gonna dress like the mask. It's gonna
And a
be
feather.
metamorphosed to
Yeah,
dress
just
like the
like
mask.
Omari knows he gets me.
Yeah. I was picturing like Joe Fixit, like the Hulk in a costume, like in a nice suit, like a 3-piece suit. But
When
you're
she
like,
Yeah, I'm sorry. When she said fedora, I immediately thought of Raphael from the first Ninja Turtles movie.
I'm walking here.
yes. Great, Jen. Great. All right, let's get another roll, and Jen will be presenting to Joey.
Okay.
Dice roll.
17 and 7. So Joey, Jen, do you have the list?
No.
Randy, go ahead and put the list back up there. All right.
So
17 and 7.
Improve Ma Kent. All right. Joe, how would you improve Ma Kent? You can start with her hair. Is her hair on the fleek, or does she need?
It's whatever you want it to be, Jen. You put this question however you want to.
Actually, yeah. How would you improve that hair? Like Ma Kent, like, come on, girl. Like, we need to upgrade our style here. What kind of hairstyle would you get her?
Zoot suit.
yeah. Let's add the zoot suit. I don't know. Let's go back to the '80s. Let's get the big old high wave in the front, big old poofy hair with the hairspray. You know, the out there look. A little bit of good makeup on there. You know, clean it up a little bit. I don't know.
So you like the big hair?
I do like the big hair. You know, I do like the '80s look.
What about the color, though?
You know,
the Aquanet, like massive fucking
big old cloud of hair,
Yeah.
you know, hair
Southern Belle hairdo.
Yeah.
I think we need to. I think you need to change the color too. What would you do with the color?
I don't know. I think older ladies, silver, you know, a little bit of gray, almost not the blue.
Ooh,
the
like
blue
a
hair,
Frankenstein hairstyle. We
There
could
you
do
go,
like
something like
a
that,
stripe.
Joey's like, make her a gilf.
Hey,
She's a-
gotta be a gilf. Ma Kent gotta be a gilf.
She's a huge fan of the bride.
Yeah. All right. Let's get another roll. Joey, you are presenting to Randy.
Oh, there we go.
13. Whoa.
Unlucky.
Whoa.
13,
Let's see,
13.
so we're gonna see how are you going to confuse Mr. Terrific?
Wow. So what's the scenario, Joey?
How am I gonna what?
Mr. Terrific.
Are you going to confuse him?
Right.
Confuse it? Well, I'm
Give me a
Up a
little bit
creek
of
with no paddle,
more
I think.
information. Mr. Terrific. I'm drawing a blank.
So Mr. Terrific is a super genius within the DC universe. He's a self-made millionaire. He relies on technology. His mask and all of his creations are technology. His mask is actually nanobots that can come off of his face and do other things. That doesn't feature in the movie, but he has like advanced spaceships, weaponry. He's basically Reed Richards for DC.
Just stick him in Idiocracy. That way he'd be so.
So
fucking confused.
what I mean by present the scenario is you have the question. Now, what is the scenario that Randy would find himself in that he needs to confuse Mr. Terrific?
This is wild.
Can be anything. Can be as wild as you want. Just come up with something right off the top of your head. What do you got? Don't overthink it.
You're robbing a bank.
I am definitely drawing a blank here. Put me on the spot.
Yep. That's the nature of live television.
Let's see. Let's make him confuse his. I have no idea.
What were you about to say? Just say that.
I can't.
All right, Randy. So
Do that.
you have found yourself as one of let's say you have found yourself as one of Kite Man's henchmen and you were being chased by Mr. Terrific. How would you confuse him and get him to confuse him to the point where you get away from him?
So I'm one of Kite Man's henchmen.
Yeah, you're the lowest of
so
the totem
I'm
pole
one
for
of the greatest
henchmen.
villain in the DC universe's
Hell yeah.
henchmen.
Hell yeah.
Is he currently in a relationship with Poison Ivy?
He is whatever you want him to be.
Okay.
You're making follow-up questions.
Yeah.
He's working. He's working at Nugan's.
I knew I should have said. I knew I should have said Catman. Hey, carry on.
I don't know who that is. So I would
Perfect.
Be confused. Let's see. How would I confuse him? Well, how do you confuse Mr. Terrific?
That is the question I am asking you.
Yeah, and I'm asking you. I'll ask him that. Like you asked the Sphinx or the which one would you say to like the liar and the truth teller? I would run down a dark alley and then perform a river dance.
All right, Randy's river dancing.
And I think that might do it. I don't know how to river dance, but I'll be okay. So I'll run down a dark alley, and in the time it takes me to run down that alley, I will go on YouTube and look up a river dance tutorial. So he rounds the corner with his T-spheres and sees me propped up
Trying to Michael Flatley
tutorial.
river dance.
Hopefully I have service. I don't know how service is in Metropolis. So it might be he might turn around and just see me like a video buffering and me frantically watching it, trying to get it to load faster.
I think you're gonna die, Randy. I'm just saying.
I mean that is confusing, right?
That he would, I think, not confused the way that I intended it, but yes, I'm sure he would be confused. I think you're still going to jail.
I think that's the best. Well, yeah.
All right, Randy, give us another roll, and you are asking Omari.
Alrighty. We have dice roll. Oh, it's not up yet.
It is a 6 and a 15.
15.
Since we have, oh no, we have not. Okay, go ahead, Randy.
Gotta find it. Hang on. 6 and 15. Amari, you need to anger Mr. Handsome.
And he hasn't seen the movie, so he doesn't know who Mr. Handsome is.
Then you need to. I'll go one up or down. You need to anger Cat Grant.
Oh.
Or do you know who Mr. Handsome is?
Well, I know who Cat Grant is because.
Okay.
Okay, so what's the scenario that Omari would find himself in where he needs to anger Cat Grant?
You need to anger Cat Grant by presenting her with, is she the fashion columnist?
Yep.
With a like the Met Gala is about to happen, and you need to give her something that will anger her. That would be the theme of the Met Gala.
Something that would anger her would be no journal. The theme is anti-journalism or anti-literature. So she's not invited. So nobody from the Daily Planet is invited, but Vicky Vale is there because she's dating Bruce Wayne.
Oh shit.
So it's like no press, no paparazzi. Like let's say the theme is hedonism, so they don't want any cameras, they don't want any reporters or journalists there. But because Vicky Vale is dating Bruce, she is allowed to come. But no other press or reporters because it's bohemian hedonistic nights at the Met Gala. So they want no recordings of anything.
Well done. You've made me angry.
That's good. That was really good, Amari. All right. Get another roll in here. It's Amari's turn to present to me.
Alrighty.
Hopefully they pop up this time. There we go.
Roll. 16 and 12.
So set it up for me because I don't have the list, but I'll come over.
So that is, how would you undress Hot Girl? Oh my God. Okay, Amari, what's the scenario in which I have to undress Hot Girl?
You made this list, Danny.
I expected. I threw that on there with the intention of being like undress Lex Luthor, or it'd be like Ultraman or something that like you'd be like in danger to do so, not like get hot girl naked. Like that wasn't what I was intending when I added that. But anyway, go ahead, Amari.
Obviously, so this wouldn't be a sexual scenario where you have to undress her. This is a scenario where it's you have to get her out of her costume into civilian clothing, but you two are giving a presentation on fire safety at a church.
What?
Oh, okay. All right, cool. So me and Hot Girl are working together to give a presentation for fire safety at a church, and I need to get her safely out of her Hot Girl costume and into civilian clothes, without the churchgoers seeing, right? And we're on stage currently. All right, cool. So
I'm so curious to what you're gonna think, because like in my head as I was saying that, I was like, I have the perfect out in my head. But I'm so curious to hear what you said.
okay, so thankfully, I have found myself being an avid follower and friend of Zatanna, and so I will say, cover the stage in smoke in reverse.
Let's hear it.
I don't know how to do that. I'm not as skilled as Zatanna. And thankfully, due to the gift of magic that my good friend Zatanna has given me, there will be a puff of smoke that will appear, at which point I will beg Superman to please come help me, and he will fly into the church at speeds others cannot see, and he will speed, undress, and dress Hot Girl, and then fly away, and no one will be any the wiser as we escape from this church in
Don't
civilian
drag
clothing.
Superman into this.
So what was how did you envision the solution there, Amari?
In my head, since it's a fire safety thing, we have her. Obviously, she's quick. She's doing a quick change. This is an athletic like quick change to where her uniform is like two sets of clothing. So like she has civilian clothes under her uniform.
It's usually the other way around.
yeah. But for this one, in my head, it's like, since it's fire safety, you say the clothes are on fire, so she has to take off the uniform to reveal the civilian clothes.
Oh, that would have not been a terrible idea. Yeah, that's less difficult to pull off. All right, we'll do one more round. Okay, give me another roll. I'll go back to Jen.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Actually, Jen, I'm going to present this one to Joey, and then Joey's going to present the next one to you. How's that sound?
Okay.
1 and 1. Oh my God.
The natural 20.
Oh my
I
God.
set this up as a crit fail whenever I did it, and it is a crit fail. This is fucking great. Joey, how would you defeat Superman? So you have found yourself the enemy of the Big Blue Boy Scout, and it has become your solemn vow to defeat him and end his existence on Earth. How would you make it happen?
Let's see. And defeat Superman. Let's see.
There's no wrong answers.
Runaway train of babies and puppies. And
Well, this got dark.
in the middle car, have a load full of kryptonite. And when he gets close to save the babies and puppies, he loses power and dies.
And you are aware that kryptonite is carcinogenic and does cause
It's gonna kill
cancer
babies
next to
and
the.
kids,
Okay,
yes.
so you're giving babies and
That's
puppies
all.
cancer to defeat Superman.
Yeah.
How are you getting him-
going to defeat Superman.
Not
How are
only
you
did
getting
he
him
defeat-
into the train car full of kryptonite?
Getting
Starts
him
throwing
in?
babies
Mhm.
Well, he's
overboard.
got to get in and save the babies and the kids and the
Throwing
puppies.
babies.
Okay.
Not only did he defeat Superman, he defeated a bunch of kids and puppies.
Yeah.
Death toll capital.
Wow, that's crazy. That's
going
some
above-
Joker
that's going
shit.
above and beyond.
That's the Joker. That's a Joker
That is a Joker
plan.
finisher.
All right, Joey, you are presenting this one to Jen. Get another roll up.
Man, I'm horrible at this.
No, just say whatever comes to your mind.
3 and 19.
Okay.
Kiss
and sleep.
Steve Lombard. So Steve Lombard is the sports journalist at the Daily Planet, and he is a bully to Clark and the biggest fan of Superman in existence.
Yeah, I noticed you don't have Clark Kent on this list.
You're right, I
understand
don't.
Why?
Well, because he's just a
Who
journalist.
was dating Steve Lombard? Any idea?
No, nobody's dating Steve Lombard.
He does have a cat that he really likes.
He does have a cat that he loves.
What's the name of the cat? I don't remember.
It was like Persephone. Or something. Yeah.
That's what it was.
So Joey, what scenario would Jen need to kiss Steve Lombard in? I'm assuming it's going to involve dead puppies and babies.
No.
Shh, don't give away my secret.
Jen, you get into a conversation with Jimmy Olsen, and the bet is that you can kiss Steve Lombard on screen. Or no,
It's press. That's
sure
it's
on
written.
screen. How are you going to get a kiss from him on screen?
How am I going to get a kiss from him on screen?
And make it happen on TV.
During a live broadcast?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I'm going to assume that I work with them, so I will be accompanying him to whatever news story that he is going to be going over. And I'm going to try to make it involve ice cream. And before he signs off, I'm like, oh, hey, I'd like to try some of that ice cream. And I'll just go up and kiss the
Oh, the old ice cream switcheroo. I've used that so many times.
it works.
Okay, Jen, you are presenting to Randy.
Okay.
Promise I won't force you guys to do this much more.
First roll.
4 and 11.
4 and 11. Befriend Guy Gardner.
Oh,
Okay. Do you want
What's the scenario?
scenario?
yeah, sorry.
Okay. I thought you were going. I was like,
I
oh,
was going to go for it. I was like, wait, no, there's more to it than that.
Yep.
So, Guy Gardner has had a very bad day. His girlfriend broke up with him. Things just aren't going right. You see him out in the park on a bench by himself feeding some pigeons. How would you cheer him up and befriend him?
I would. It probably involved beer and I would probably like run up with beer in hand and throw one of the pigeons at the lake that I'm assuming we're nearby, or a pond. And then throw him a beer. Well, do like the bottle trick where you can like open one beer with another and then give him both beers. Because I've learned that you're supposed to not keep both beers from previous.
Why did you spike a pigeon?
Yeah, why are you fucking flinging a pigeon into a lake?
Guy Gardner. Okay, let me pull up an image of him. Now tell me this man would not enjoy seeing a pigeon thrown into a pond.
I don't know, but
I
maybe
think the pigeon would be fine, but I think he'd get a kick out of that. That would start us off on the right foot.
Okay. All right. Next one. Randy's presenting to Omari. What we got?
We have dice roll 1 and 12.
All right.
Have to defeat Hawk Girl.
Wow, Hawk Girl's popular. Let's re-roll so we get a different character. We'll just take the character result and keep it as defeat.
3.
Oh my God.
You have to
Okay.
defeat Perry White.
All right. What's the scenario?
You have started a competing, but equally like well-funded, journalistic empire. What's your strategy to get the leg up on the established Daily Planet and defeat Perry White? in journalism, I guess. Or you can just kick his ass. He's a smoker, so like I'm sure he's
Take a flight of stairs.
yeah.
Is this relegated to strictly DC characters?
Nah, man, it's whatever you want to do.
Okay. We hired J. Jonah Jameson and
GG's.
as our editor in chief, and we this is trashy tabloids Far From Home J. Jonah Jameson. So we have Alex Jones, J. Jonah Jameson. So we have them lie about the Daily Planet harboring money. So Superman inadvertently has to destroy the Daily Planet, making sure people stop robbing it. Like big Avengers level, Man of Steel level destruction. So they're out of operation, and now we're left to the only game in town.
Wow, damn.
I like it.
Forcing him out of the business entirely.
Yeah, a bunch of false
cutthroat.
news
You got
articles. A bunch of false news articles saying that their desks are lined with gold. They have the most expensive Apple computers that you could find. Just everything that a robber or degenerate would want to steal. So
Yeah.
Superman has to go in there and clean the place up.
CJ from Nightmares and sorry, Jen, what?
I was just gonna ask, hey Maria, whenever I have problems in the future, can I call you? Sounds awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cutthroat. CJ from Nightmares and Nerdscape said they're called newspapers, Randy.
It's a multimedia empire at this point. It's not.
Okay.
They don't do just
All right.
newspaper.
Final roll. Amari's presenting to me. What we got?
Let's see. We have dice roll and 2 and 13.
All right. 2 is prank and 13 is Mr. Terrific. So let's get another character roll.
Alrighty.
17 crypto. I don't want to prank a dog. Roll again.
You already killed them.
I don't know how you'd prank a dog. 15.
Hanson.
Pigeons killing
Fine.
dogs.
3 rolls. That's what I'm stuck with. All right.
So
So-
Mr. Handsome is like the boatman in the like pocket like prison that he's created. So
Yeah.
it's like this. Well, I have a picture actually.
He looks like a gray alien. He has no lines whatsoever, and he runs the boat, the like floating boat that Lex uses to get to the different prison cells in this
We
prison.
had speculations of who this was,
And
and
it's nobody. It's an original character that
Yeah.
James Gunn came up with for the movie.
unless he appears in the Welcome to Metropolis prequel junior novel that
Yeah.
I haven't finished.
I
yet.
did see that New Rockstars did a breakdown of all the like stuff in the movie, and Lex has a picture of Mr. Handsome on his desk. Like he's so proud of him. He has a picture of him on his desk.
Like looking at it, I was like, "Is this supposed to be like a Lex Luthor clone that just didn't really work out?"
Fuck, I don't know, dude. You know what it looks like? And I'm thinking about it right now, just seeing it. That is what the alien Supergirl looked like when she was in her natural form after when they brought her back during Death and Return of Superman. Yep.
A wrinkled
Phantom
conehead.
Zone Chiron or Chiron. That's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah. But anyway, so Amari, what is the scenario where I would need to prank this poor creature that is stuck in this prison of Lex's design?
I haven't seen the movie, but I assume that this person has no concept of a day off. So you have to prank them and explain to them what a day off is, and then quickly make them realize that they are not getting this day off because it is a prank.
Okay. All right. He seems very nonplussed about his entire life in the whole movie. He doesn't seem to care about much, but he does seem to generally like Lex Luthor. So what I'm going to present to him is a certificate for 1 day off that he can spend with Mr. Luthor doing whatever it is he wants to do. I'm going to explain to him in great detail that he gets to go into the real world outside of the Elseworld prison. He gets to pick the activity that he and Lex are going to do, which I assume is boating of some kind. And I'm going to get him very, very, very hype about it. and then I'm going to ask him to deliver me back to the portal that will take me into the real world. And upon him delivering me, before I walk through the portal, I will tear the certificate up into tiny little pieces and watch his stupid little gray alien face shed tears of sadness as I flip him off and jump back through the portal.
It's the premise to a Rick and Morty episode.
It really is. Yeah, that was
He's
very
got
much.
that- he doesn't not look like a Meeseeks.
That's also true. He does look like a Meeseeks. Okay, well, that was How Would You? Thank you guys for playing along with me. I think this was fun. And could probably use a little refinement, but I think it was fine for a new segment. Anyway, that does it for us this week for Cutting Edge Hero. Amari, where can people find you, and how can they get a hold of you and your products?
Yeah, so my books are on Amazon. My books are on my website, BlackToothPublishing.com. I'm also on Instagram at BlackTooth Publishing, or you can watch me draw very poorly. I've been filming myself learning to draw, and I have an Instagram for that called @PremiumArtillery. But BlackTooth Publishing, Premium Artillery, that's where you guys can find me.
All right, brother. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for being a good sport, and thanks for hanging out for the whole show. That was awesome. You were a lot of fun, and if you ever want to come back, just let me know. We'd be more than happy to have you back again. Jen, you want to say anything to the nice folk?
Thank you again, guys, for showing up. Omari, thanks for coming to hang out with us. It's super awesome to have you on here. Yeah, thank you guys for showing up. The show's just not the same without our audience. So thank you.
Joey, wish the people well, please.
Thank you for coming and watching us. Mari, thank you for staying with us for the game and not,
Randy, what do you got?
Thanks for watching, and yes, Claudio, I agree. We loved you, Amari.
Thank you, guys.
It was awesome to meet you and have you, and this has been really fun to talk about like your comics. And I definitely is there. Real quick question: is it better to order from your website or Amazon, or does it just wherever we can get them?
So yeah, for me, it doesn't. Physicals are on Amazon. Digitals are on my website. So I don't sell the physicals through my website, just through Amazon. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
Fantastic. All right. Well, again, thank you guys so much for being here. We would do the show without you, but it wouldn't be as fun. Thank you, Amari, for being here. You guys have been incredible, and we've been Cutting Edge Hero.
Peace.